Do you want to make 10K per month from your laptop taking calls for high-ticket business owners? I can get you there in 30 days or less. Just kidding. You know I don't do that on this channel. That's bullshit. No, I don't do that. We're not doing that. Today, I am going to pull back the curtain on why most sales reps don't actually make money. I'm going to explain to you why that happens, why you are not making the money that you want to make, to be honest, because if you're watching this, I'm sure you're not. Why I wasn't making the money that I wanted to make, why I was stuck at 2 to 3K for several months, actually, as a closer, and how I flipped that and ended up changing my entire life and ended up making 15K plus in commissions per month, making 18K in February of 2024 in commissions, put out a lot of my calls, guys started seeing me, and then I became a sales coach building a multi-six-figure business and helping business owners do the same, with their sales process. I'm going to explain to you the difference between those two realities, a sales rep who makes a lot of money versus a sales rep who doesn't, and how you can plug this three-part formula that I'm going to give you. It's an actual formula for why sales reps don't make money, how you can plug that into your consciousness and use it as a tool to make money, okay? So I'm going to explain to you why most sales reps don't make money and why people coming into the high-ticket space actually tend to struggle. And if you can understand this, you'll be able to do the opposite of those things and you'll be able to make money, okay? And this means you. I'm talking to you here because I know you want to make money and you're not in a position where you want to be ultimately, which is why I make these videos, why we have these trainings, so you can change your life, so you can be in the position that you want to be in. So there's three pieces to this. The first piece you have to understand is identity, okay? In order for you to make money with remote sales, which is not easy, remote sales, high-ticket sales is not an easy thing. Those who are making money with it will tell you that it's easy because they're already making money doing it. But objectively, remote sales is not easy, high-ticket sales is not easy, or most people that were closers would just be making money like this, right? What by definition, because most people are not making money with it, and very few people will make money online and hit 10, 15K plus per month online, that means by definition, just by the numbers, it is difficult, right? So the first thing is identity. You are not aligned with the version of yourself who is a high-level problem solver, okay? In order for you to make money online, it's very important that you see yourself as someone who is a solver of problems and a presenter of solutions. That's an important thing. And I don't mean only technique. We're going to get into technique in a second. I'll tell you about process in a bit, and I'm going to give you some great sauce on that. But I'm not talking about technique here. I'm talking about identity, who you actually believe you are. You're not aligned with the version of yourself who is a high-level problem solver and who creates change for people on a case-by-case basis. Because what's happening is in the remote sales space right now in high-ticket sales, the effort and attention that's being put in, the effort and attention, the consciousness that's being put in is below the threshold necessary to be a high-level problem solver. So one of the things that made me really, really good at sales was when I stopped seeing myself as just a sales rep, and instead I started seeing myself as someone who had a responsibility to solve problems for my prospects' needs and for where they wanted to be, okay? That was a huge change for me. I went from being this guy who was like, I'm here to show up, take some calls, make some money online, because I can do that. That's what remote sales is. You show up and do an hour call and you make money. I shifted from that consciousness to I need to be a problem solver and take responsibility for my prospects' future, for their ability to change their lives and be in a position that's going to let them have ultimate freedom, lose the weight they want to lose, date the women they want to date, create the businesses they want to create, have the trading career they want to have. I shifted my consciousness from being someone who showed up and did his job, which I'll get more into in a second. We're going to go very deep here, guys. I shifted from that into someone who is, I have responsibility as someone who is a problem solver, right? And the reason a lot of high-ticket sales reps fail is because you've been told the lie that you can shortcut your way to freedom, as I did in the intro in this video in a kind of silly, stupid way, right? But the intro in this video, you see the headlines all the time, right? Make 10K per month with high-ticket sales within 30 days. How people are quitting their 9-to-5 jobs and making 10K per month. In those programs that you see, those headlines that catch you, and some of you have been through those programs, and that actually everyone that I train has been through programs from other people. All these people are promising you very high-level results, right? They're promising you these things that take an enormous amount of willpower, of effort to get to, Enormous doesn't mean it's the hardest thing in the entire world. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's like going to medical school, like, 8 years of hell. I'm not saying that. But a year or so of concentrated effort and trial is what it takes to consistently make it in the remote sales space, right? To where you're set for life and you never have to worry about working again or how you're going to make money again. Doesn't mean you're not going to have to work, but you're not going to have to worry about how you get hired. That's the level that you can get to in remote sales, right? And a lot of sales reps actually never get to this position. And going back to you now, so many sales reps are sold this idea that it's going to be easy and this is kind of just another way to make money online, but they don't realize how much of sales is actually about identity and who you become and who you are as an individual. They don't understand this, they don't realize this, and their consciousness, or I should say their identity, is not aligned with that. Which means that the effort they put in, hear me out now, don't zone out on me. The effort they put in is lower than the effort actually required to help people make change at scale. And at scale means you're taking on 6 to 7 calls a day on some offer, whether it's tax savings offer, biz op offer, dating offer, business consulting offer, whatever the offer is you're running, golf coaching, I don't know what it is, it doesn't matter, right? The effort that you're putting in is substantially lower than the effort required to actually be a sales rep who changes people's lives, which is where your money's going to come from. So your identity, if it's not aligned with the version of yourself who is a high-level problem solver, you're always going to be you're always going to be shooting below the mark all the time, constantly. This is a non-negotiation. This is a fact. Great morning today. Drinking coffee with butter and honey. Shout out to my former client and good friend, Rocco Quinn, who talks about that. Coffee with butter and honey will change your lives, guys. Trust me. After identity is fear. Fear, you care what your prospect thinks about you. One of the first things that I always have to train my reps on when guys come into our protocols training program, well, as the hat here says, protocols, if you can see it, one of the first things I always have to train them in is replacing their fear state with courage. Okay? Your number one power as a closer, and this is where a lot of high-ticket reps fail and don't succeed. Your number one power as a closer is your desire to help someone achieve a result has to outweigh your attachment to what they think about you. And I'll give you an interesting story. When I started closing, I was on a biz op, an appointment setting biz op. It was an offer helping people leave their 9 to 5 and become appointment setters. Terrible, terrible offer, to be honest. Not really going to help anyone necessarily with that. You can figure out yourself how to be an appointment setter. You don't need a fucking 5K coaching program, but that was what I was coaching. I mean, that's what I was selling. And what was interesting is on that offer, there were people I was talking to that were in their 40s and their 50s, and I'm this 28-year-old guy. Now I'm older, but when I started I was 28. This 28-year-old guy who's coming into sales and just wide-eyed, like hoping to make some money, hoping to find some freedom, change my life. And I didn't realize when I would get on these calls that I had to not care what the other person thought about me. Hear me out on this. Don't think I'm saying something I'm not. So I would get onto these calls. I remember there was a woman I actually closed. Her name was Beatrice. I'll never forget this. She was an Austrian woman named Beatrice. And she ended up joining the program. It took me 2 calls to close her. And I wasn't good at the time. I just had a good conversation with her. And she told me, she was like, "You're such a nice young man." She was like a 40-something-year-old woman, had kids, all that stuff. Mature lady. She was like, "You're such a nice young man. I feel like you're so good at sales." And I felt so validated hearing that. My close percentage at the time was 8%. But I felt so validated hearing that, and I was making no money. But I felt validated hearing that. Why did I feel validated hearing that? It was because I cared deeply about what she thought about me. And yes, she bought. And I was like, it's because of that. That's what I'm in this for. People liking me. And I didn't say that explicitly, but it was like people liking me. Me being this guy that's helping people, but how do I know I'm helping them? Because they're liking me, right? And then I went like 0 for 15 over the next week. Couldn't close a person. Couldn't close for shit. Until I learned how to do sales, how to handle objections, how to lead, how to, create set frames, all these things, and then ended up making a bunch of money, and that's how I changed my life. But the problem, the lesson here, the thing I want you guys to take away is My consciousness, and I talk a lot about consciousness on this channel because it's a real thing, guys. The identity you have, the identity you hold in your mind about who you believe you are as an individual, as a person, is a real fucking thing. Trust me, my friend, it's a real thing. My consciousness was aligned with that of a person who needs to be liked and needs a validation from others, right? It was, I need to be liked. I care what the prospect thinks about me. And as a result, I didn't make money. As a result, I stayed broke. As a result, I could barely pay rent. And since then, I've changed my life. Since changing my priority, where I first saw, to me, helping someone means they like me, we have a good conversation, and I give them some ideas. To now, me helping someone means I take their fucking money, and they pay me, and I change their lives. Right? Whether that's my coaching program or for an offer I'm consulting for. I tell this to all my sales reps. You helping someone, you being the best sales rep that you can be, means you took someone's money and they committed to changing their lives. Whether that's fitness, whether it's dating offers, again, whether it's self-development coaching, whether it's trading coaching, they invested, they made a change, and they changed their lives. They invested and they committed to a new path. And that's up to your coaches and your company to do their job. That is what I care about more than being liked now. Do you see the difference in shift? And because I replaced what do they think with I hold the keys to their future, because I replaced it, it gave me more leverage to close and to make more money for myself and my family. That's what took me from being 3, 4K even to being 10K, 15K plus. That's what took me from being a 10, 15K plus closer, right, to changing the lives of other closers and helping other guys make way more money. And fulfilling that responsibility, not as a biz op, not in a way that's corny to me. I don't like that. Everyone has their bullshit coaching program. I know. Trust me, I've seen those guys. I've been a client of some of these people who are like, I help coaches coach. I teach coaches how to coach other coaches. Bullshit, nonsense, right? Our training is straight up. If you're a sales rep and you want to make more money, I'm going to help you make more money by learning psychology, leadership, and communication frames. That's what I do, straight up. All right, objection handling, discovery, process, all that stuff. No biz op bullshit here. No. Hey, we help you make your first 10K online. I mean, we do, but not for complete beginners. We're not selling bullshit to people, right? So, but the only reason I could get to this place now, the only thing that allowed me to get here was that I replaced what are they going to think about me? What do they think? With I hold the keys to their future, and that's all that matters, right? And at the end of the day, the best version of me is helping this person make a change. In order for them to make a change, they've got to pay something because we are the ones that they're paying to make that change. We're the bridge to get them from where they are now to where they want to be. That was the shift in my consciousness. The third issue I see with sales reps, why high-ticket closers are broke, why they're soft, why they're not making money. They're not prioritizing process. You're not prioritizing the process. You're prioritizing showing up, okay? And this is a very important point. This is like one of the most important things. You're not prioritizing process, you're just prioritizing showing up. And I'm going to give you a crazy shift here that's going to change your entire game if you can apply it correctly, which is important. Before I give you that shift, I want to tell you, we've got a resource down below. It's called the Protocols newsletter, okay? And it's free. It's free to join. And it's me giving away all my best sales insights, live call recordings, live trainings on objections, mindset training, deep psychology, framing, leadership, some crazy shit that I don't share on YouTube because it would be too, I think the audience here may not always receive that well, so I only want to share that to people that know me a little bit more, which is what the newsletter's for. It's for me to give you some of my best stuff. So you can check it out down below. It's called the Protocols newsletter. Just put an email in. There's nothing to buy. I'm not going to pitch you anything. There's no book a call. We don't have any of that. It's just straight value, right? So click and opt into the newsletter, and I'm going to send you immediately some crazy shit from me on objections and leadership. Like immediately we go into this, right? So check out the newsletters down below. It's free to join. It's powerful. It will change your sales game. Let's continue with process. So if you aren't prioritizing process, you're sabotaging yourself, and you're literally leaving money on the table. You're lighting money on fire and throwing it in the trash. And here's why. It's because there's a consciousness shift from when you go from talent and relying on like, I'm a good communicator, I know how to hold my own on a call or two, to process and obsessing over the game, the process, the way the greats do. And I'm not talking about the greats only in sales, I'm talking about the greats in any industry. Basketball, right? Like the greats, I'm a basketball guy, right? Jordan, Kobe, like obsessing over process. Any athlete will tell you, any athlete who's at the top of their game obsesses over the process, over mastery of the game. So why shouldn't you when it comes to sales? Unless you're telling me you're that mentally weak and you want handouts and you're such a weak-minded person where you want the easiest path to success and freedom. Do you desire comfort that much? Because if you do, then this game is not for fucking you. Stay as an appointment center making your 3-4K per month. Good. And I say that with love. I'm not being harsh, right? But I'm trying to disqualify you here. If this message isn't for you, I'm serious. It's for people who want to change their lives and make 15, 20, 30 plus K per month in sales. That's the life I built for myself. I'm sitting here on a massive balcony that's the size of my previous apartment. It's a little, actually, I can't exaggerate. It's literally the size of my previous apartment. That shit's insane. I'll give you an apartment tour once we set everything up. We just moved. And I'm sitting here in front of this, right? Having changed my entire life completely. We just moved in. Getting an X6, BMW X6. It's coming in a week and a half. Getting that. Just bought business class tickets to Tokyo right before this call, right? Dropped several grand on business class tickets for me and my girl to go to Tokyo and spend a couple of weeks there. We don't have return tickets. We'll hang out there for a while. You'll see some stuff from there. But I'm telling you, I'm not saying this to flex. You know I don't do all these fucking I'm in Dubai vlogs. I've never even fucking been to Dubai. I don't have Dubai cash yet to really enjoy Dubai. Straight up, right? But what I am saying is the consciousness shift that I made from talent of, hey, I'm a good talker, right? I'm in sales because you can make money online. The consciousness shift from that to process oriented, to I love the process and mastering the process. That is what changed my life. That's what changed my life, and that's what gave me freedom, right? And it will do the same for you. But the reason why is because mastery is what leads to long-term results. And I'm not saying this to you just so you can so we can nerd out here, like, oh, like, hey, let's just do it for the sake of it. It's not for the sake of it. It's because mastery leads to long-term freedom. When you master something, it gives you leverage to control the entire process, right? When you're a master, you understand why things are happening. You understand why processes are happening. You understand why certain behaviors happen from your prospects. You understand why certain statements are made. You understand the body language, the science behind communication, behind the psychology. You understand it all, right? You can see the method to the madness, right? You control the process. And what I want on my sales calls, this is what leads to me making a bunch of money and being able to train the best sales reps and being able to consult for amazing businesses and help them scale from, 5 figures a month to multi-6 figures a month. The reason I'm able to do this is because I understand the entire process. I understand the full game. So I have zero fear about being challenging, zero fear about leading, zero fear about setting standards. And the reason is because I hold the keys, right? I hold the keys to the prospect's future. So there's process. I focus on process and focus on the way we get to the result. Not just showing up and doing my job. Not just showing up and having a conversation. But how do we actually get to the result? We focus on that. How? What's the how? What's the mechanism? What's the scripting? What's the psychology? That gives you control. And then zero fear. Zero fear with challenging, leading, setting standards, because you hold the keys to the prospect's future. You hold the keys to what happens next. You do. And no one else holds the keys but you. On that call. A call is a sacred 45-minute space where the prospect surrenders and says, you have control to what happens next in my life. They have control because they have to be the ones to make the decision and swipe the card, right? But you have a certain degree of control and influence over where they go, over what they do, over how you present the path to them. And then taking ownership and believing in your heart fully, entirely, with absolute conviction and certainty that you are the one who is going to take them to where they need to be. That's the game. That's the game. That's why most high-ticket sales reps don't make money. But if you can do the opposite of this, if you can prioritize process, right? If you can prioritize getting over your own fear of being liked and go into instead, I'm afraid of not helping and seeing them make a change and pay something. If you can get past your ego-based identity of like, I'm in this just to make some money, but you can instead build an identity of I'm someone who's a high-level problem solver, and I'm a problem solver who takes responsibility for my prospect's future because I have that responsibility within myself because that is my identity as an individual, as a sales rep. You will print and you will make money. People want to hire you. You will find offers. You'll be at the top of your game. You'll be elite. And this is something that I don't believe is talked about enough, and I wanted to share it with you here because it means a lot to me. It means everything to me. Okay. Blessings. Be well. Make some money. Go crush it. Today is the wife's birthday, so I'm going to go out and we're going to do some fun stuff. Got her some little presents. She's a good girl, good woman. So got her some nice things. We're going to go out and do some stuff today. Drive around Budapest, hang out. Otherwise, I'll see you later. Goodbye. Take care. Have a good one. Be blessed as always, and make a bunch of money. Go set yourself free. And if you want me to help you, the link down to book a strategy call is down below. It's not a sales call, it's just a call with one of my team members who's going to just see if we have what you need. We'll see if there's alignment. 15 minutes, no sales pitch. And if it is a good fit, then we'll invite you to book a demo call with another one of my top guys. Okay? Take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.